let me go grab the link. God, this is so much faster on my computer as opposed to my old laptop. Okay. Pod is up.
I'll give it 10 seconds and then I'll roll. Like usual. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Hello, my fellow barbarians. It's me, Rock, and joining me is, like always, is MDA. Pretty much I don't have the guild stats. I don't have like a stonk of the week, but we're gonna basically just kind of. We were hoping that the State of the Galaxy would have came out today or yesterday, but it looks like they're not going to post it. So we figured, may as well go ahead. There's been still a lot of news, a couple new characters, a ship, a couple Omicrons, so may as well wanted to talk about it, get all that stuff out the way. So we want to go ahead and just start with Iden.
Yeah, I got Iden's kit pulled up right here. So pretty much we're gonna cover all the new stuff. So we have Iden, the 3 Omicrons, Karth, Admiral Akbar, Princess Leia, second sister, and then the new Conquest character, the TIE Interceptor. So starting with Iden Versio, she is from the Battlefront 2 campaign. She is a dark side attacker, Imperial trooper, and Empire. And her whole purpose here is to be not used with Veers. Pretty much is what's going on here. So, basic attack, deal physical damage to target enemy. If no other allies have the leader tag, Iden deals damage 2 more times. For each critical hit, Iden recovers 5% health and protection. Special number 1, push forward. Deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict vulnerable for 2 turns. Dispel all buffs on target enemy and inflict healing immunity for 2 turns and stun for 1. These effects can't be resisted by rebel enemies. If no other allies have the leader tag, call all other non-droid Imperial Trooper allies to assist, dealing 20% less damage. So pretty much that is anti-Dark Trooper, pretty much, and anti-Veers, Moff Gideon, and Piet. Special 2, we can grieve later. Dispel all debuffs on Imperial Trooper allies. Iden gains protection up 100% for 2 turns, and all other Imperial Trooper allies gain protection up 50%. Imperial Trooper allies recover 35% protection. If no other allies have the leader tag, all non-droid Imperial Trooper allies gain We Adapt or Die for 3 turns, which can't be copied. And We Adapt or Die reads as plus 30% crit chance, plus 30% offense, and plus 30 speed. Revive with 70% health when defeated. If dispelled, recover 80% health and gain 80% turn meter, and can't be critically hit for 2 turns. Leader ability, which does have an Omicron. Imperial Trooper allies have plus 35% crit chance, plus 35% offense, and plus 35 speed. At the start of the battle, if no other allies have the leader tag, whenever a non-droid Imperial Trooper ally attacks at a turn, they gain 2% offense, stacking until the end of the encounter. Critical damage up for 2 turns at the start of each encounter. Have plus 100% counter chance, and while enemies are vulnerable, they have negative or minus 25% speed. And while in Grand Arenas, at the start of the battle, if no other allies have the leader tag, Imperial Trooper allies also gain 35% max health and max protection. And whenever an enemy attacks at a turn, Imperial Trooper allies recover 20% health and protection and gain 10% turn meter. Really giving some anti-Geo, anti-Mon Mothma, anti-CLS, that kind of vibes here. And first in, last out, which does have a Zeta. If no other allies have the leader tag and all allies are non-droid Imperial troopers, Iden gains 100% turn meter at the start of each encounter, and whenever she is defeated, she revives with 100% health and protection if there is another active Imperial trooper ally. While Iden has protection up, she has plus 30% plus 30% potency, and while she is active, Imperial trooper allies have plus 30% offense. I'm not gonna lie, this we've had a chance to see Iden for a bit, and I've been really impressed with what she's been able to do.
I kind of agree. If I'm reading that last unique right, basically you can't kill her until all the other troopers are dead, right?
Yeah, so
So it's kind of like a Night Sister zombie kind of
I
thing.
believe so. Except I think
Except she probably can get like annihilated.
Deathmark annihilates, and like if Django or Boba, like Boba with his executor, if Django killed her, I
Yeah.
believe that overrides it. But yes,
Okay.
that's how that
It's
works.
basically like Night Sister Junior.
Hmm.
I I don't know. At first, when it first came out, my first impression was great. Another Imperial trooper. We got 3 last year. Like, do we need any more of these guys? And then read the kit and I saw what they were doing with the whole anti-Veers, anti Gideon, anti Dark Trooper, or whatever. And I actually like that because now you can basically make 2 M Trooper teams now. Because they basically said if you want to use her with the quote unquote best Imperial Trooper team, then she's not going to work right. She's not going to be that effective,
Yeah.
which I kind of appreciate. But I mean, just reading it, I mean, it almost looks like you can kind of make a defensive team out of it, running the 2 Imperial Trooper tanks with like Magma Guard or like Magma Trooper and like Snow Trooper or like Death Trooper and Snow Trooper or like shoot, even range. Probably range would be a good option. He recovers protection.
Yeah, and with all the attacking out of turn that they do, they're going to be constantly
Yeah.
ramping up their damage. Um, I've been impressed. I've seen like really in terms of counters, like this takes something serious. Like I've seen the occasional like Lucky Night Sister team can beat this, but like I mean, you got to take something decent to, and especially like you throw like Stormtrooper in there, like Iden's going to be alive for a while because it's just so hard to take out some of these characters. And um, yeah, the revive is cool. The offense is great, and the constant health and protection, coming back is really cool. So I was on the fence about whether I was going to like her or not, but from what I've seen, I think she's a good addition to the game.
I agree. I also like the Grand Arena Omicron.
Yeah.
I think that's a good spot for her.
Yeah, makes another good trooper and Empire team. So if you're an Empire person, or if this is and this is also for like new free to play players, or like new players right now in the early game. This is a solid team that you can use just right out the gates. Because I mean, you got Magma Trooper is a Galactic War farm. Stormtrooper is a Cantina farm. I'm sure you'll get some of the other troopers.
Short Trooper's kind of a pain to farm because he's on like a 20 energy hard note at the end.
Right.
Same with like Dark Trooper, but like still, even you could use like Stark with this lineup.
You
Like
can use
Stark doesn't
Stark,
have a lead.
Snow Trooper. Like Snow Trooper is an early game
Yeah.
character, and that's the ideal team. And as you're getting something that's gonna, it's good for banners, and it's an offense or defense team, which is super nice.
Uh, I mean, I didn't look at much testing on this so far. Like, I didn't look at like any videos or anything on this on the Iden Boss team, or yeah, or however you say your name. Not Boss,
Versio.
but yeah, Versio. But I don't know. It looked like reading the kit, just like you can read the kit. It's basic. Kind of reminds me of like when shoot, what's his name? I can't think of his name. He was the first M Trooper to come out. His name is just Piet.
Yeah,
Like
Piet.
when Piet first came out, she kind of reminds me of just this really kind of overpowered, not really overpowered, but like really solid character to like elevate a faction. And it looks like getting two really good M Trooper teams is really basically just means that shoot, it's okay to go a little crazy early game, like if you wanted to gear up a stormtrooper or you wanted to gear up a snowtrooper. You don't have to feel like you've wasted resources because of that, because you can always just throw them with Iden. But
Yeah.
also, I will say I do like the animation for the first special. She's got the little droid that like pops out of her back. That looks so cool.
Yeah, real reminiscent to Battlefront 2. Spent a lot of time played with Iden a lot, so it's nice to see. The model also looks really good too. The art the polygons are on point here. Um, we'll jump forward in that same update. Karth got an Omicron for territory battles. So this is going on to his lead, which is a Zeta. So the normal Zeta lead is Old Republic allies gain 30% potency, tenacity, and crit avoidance. When an enemy is inflicted with a damage over time effect, all Republic allies recover 3% health and protection. When an Old Republic ally uses their basic during their turn, they have an 80% chance to call another Old Republic ally to assist, dealing 50% damage, limit once per turn. While in territory battles, Old Republic allies have plus 20% counter chance, max health, and defense for each Old Republic ally. So you're thinking you're going to run a team of 5, so you'll have basically plus 100%. Whenever an Old Republic ally uses a special ability, they inflict 4 damage over time effects on the selected target, which can't be evaded, and then Karth is called to assist. Whenever an Old Republic ally attacks at a turn, they recover 5% health and protection and gain 25% offense stacking until the end of the encounter. I know the buzz about this one has not been very high, and I think if we will see gameplay, it will be for this upcoming GOTB, but I can't imagine that they will really see any because not many people have Karth up and running. What were your thoughts here on the Karth Omicron?
Uh, First impression was it seems like another territory battle. One for Karth is very unnecessary, considering that most phases you need two non-Jedi teams. It's not. There's plenty of teams in this game that are non-Jedi and can get 4 out of 4 waves. And so I was like, I would have much rather this have gone to like a Jedi, like Mace Windu, maybe. I don't know. That could have been a good one to go to.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I kind of wish this one was going to be like Grand Arena or Territory War,
I
just
think
because,
Territory
like,
War would have been super cool because like imagine just
yeah,
like Canderous with this, or even just
yeah,
you're
because
more
that
likely
was
to use this. I don't hate
yes.
this per se. I think this could be like a solid 4 out of 4 team, but still, it's
Oh, for sure.
you're you're adding this to an older public team that like doesn't really have any viability anywhere else in the game. Like pretty much you can't put it on defense in territory wars or Grand Arena because like OG Kylo just solos it and that's that, or like they get beat by a lot and it just there's not a lot of viability for it. So it's just weird that like territory battles, I now if they are rumored to be making another territory battles, maybe this makes sense and maybe it'll be neutral where you could use all characters and maybe that's why Candace could be there, or maybe it'll be Old Republic themed, who knows. But as of right
Yeah.
now, I think objectively this might be the worst Omicron in the game.
In terms of like statistics and like what it does for the team, I think it's good. But in terms of like its use, like you got to think you got to bring like most of them to Relic. Probably like maybe like a Relic 5 to 7 Zalbar, Relic Relic 5 mission, and then the rest at like Relic 5 to Relic 3 to really like maximize.
And I think you're gonna have to use. I don't think you need to use Revan or Jolie, but I think you need to use like probably
Team.
Basila. I think so. Like I think the team would be like Karth, Mission, Zalbar, T3, and Bastila. And
That's losing out on like Basila's decent sub for like a lot of the Jedi teams. So that's
yeah,
even less like variety that you can get with your Jedi teams.
so
Um,
It's if you're a big Old Republic fan and you have them all relics and geared up, I would say this is a no-brainer. Slap it on, get a 4 out of 4 with light side Geo, but I think there's just so many other better ones. Yeah, I mean, even in like the Rolo one is better than this. The Kyle Katarn one is better than this. Like I would put it on those before I would do this for territory battles.
Shoot, I would, from what I've seen from the Ewok one, I would do the Ewok one before this, just
Yeah,
because that Ewok. I mean, look, thinking back on it, that Ewok one's pretty solid. I would
I
say
mean, shoot,
it's
I'd put it
not.
on Iden Versio before I'd put it on this.
Oh yeah, I'd agree.
Like
Yeah,
we all got an, and even Iden at 3 stars. Throw it on Iden there. Um,
yeah. Shooter, even the
it's,
yeah.
it's a little just a little disappointing because this is probably the unless something else comes out, this is probably the last touch up to Old Republic that we'll see. So
I just
unfortunately,
wish it was. I just wish it was Gak or Territory War. You would get more use out of it, and then you would actually get a chance to use Canderous, which is probably the engine of that team anyway.
and don't get me wrong, I think like Cars could be hitting pretty hard with this, and like the team could be hitting pretty hard. And I actually think if you were to apply this, I think this could be a really solid and like all the way to phase 4. Like this would be a a staple light side Geo team, but it's like at what cost though? Like and
Yeah,
just so you can do this.
it's like you could do this, or you could go with like a Shakti clone team, and you would get use out of Shakti clones everywhere else in the game.
Like if there was a Galactic Legends like a Geo Revan, and you needed to
Yeah.
relic up all the Old Republic characters, this would be less bad because you had to relic them up anyways. But like, I'm not going to go out of my way to relic these characters.
Oh yeah, that's kind of my same sentiment.
So that's Karth. He doesn't want to talk about it. We're gonna go jump to Admiral Akbar, who got a Omicron for Grand Arenas. So his new lead, um, base lead is Rebel allies have plus 25 speed and plus 10% tenacity. In addition, whenever an ally uses an ability that isn't an attack, they call a Rebel ally to assist. While in Grand Arenas, at the start of battle, all allies gain tenacity up for 2 turns. If all allies are rebel, whenever an ally's buff expires, they gain 3% turn meter. In addition, if all allies are rebel, whenever an ally uses an ability that isn't an attack, recover all allies' health by 5%, call the other 2 weakest allies to assist, and reduce their cooldowns by 1. So I know initially the Akbar one, well, I'd say had a mixed reaction. Definitely, we'll get to it with the Princess Leia. I think it could definitely this definitely gets better with the Princess Leia one that was announced. But let's just take this one for what it is because there's a chance you may not run Princess Leia in this team. So, what was your reaction to, or what are your thoughts on Akbar's lead here?
I I liked it just because like the Rebel faction as a whole is like really it's really wide. You need it for like if you get uh Jedi Knight Luke and then Jedi Master Luke, I would just rough estimate be like 10 to 12 rebels. And so that's a lot of that's a lot of like investment for I mean, a lot of them aren't very usable. Like Wedge and Biggs aren't very usable. I mean, like if you get the Rolo Zeta, the Rolo Omicron, then like you get a lot of use out of those guys. But if you're already someone that's like, well, I already have two really good non-Jedi teams, I don't really care about the Rolo one. I'd much rather use it elsewhere. Then the the Akbar one's pretty good. I mean, you also have to think this goes to a ship as well. So I don't know if the Omicron will affect the ship because I don't know if we have. Well, we
No, because
won't.
it doesn't go above ability tier 8. This does not affect ship speed.
Okay, that was something I needed to know. Uh, but I mean, shoot, it looks like you're going to be able to take like four Jedi or like four rebels. I'm sorry, and just kind of make a little defensive team out of it, or even like take out some decent stuff on offense. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of health and protection recovery. I mean, I could see like NBA was talking. You were talking about like running like Chert and Baze with this squad because that would be even more like health recovery, and then even and just a nice tank with Baze. But I mean, at face value, it really like if take away uh, the Leia Omicron, and it's good. It's just not like the best. I would say that
I would say
I
this
would
is like I would say this is like Night Sisters on defense. This
yeah
is like Mon Mothma pre Kyle Katarn. Like, it's definitely like it's got stuff. It's definitely like, nothing, it's not horrible, but so for anyone listening, I actually am going to apply both the Princess Leia one and the Akbar one with my next two Omicrons. I have Princess Leia at Relics for JML, and Akbar I have at Gear 12 for the Rebel fleets. So, and I was intending on bringing up some of these characters anyways to run with Rolo, because I gave Rolo her Omicron. I think the ideal team for this is Akbar, Leia, Chirrut, Baze, and Ahsoka Fulcrum. And Ahsoka Fulcrum has been one of those characters that was never bad, but just never, there was never a team that she really fit into where her full kit could be utilized, because she basically needed to be on a team with a ton of buffs, which was like either a GMY Bastila team or like a CLS team. But the problem is that like in order to include her, you made the team worse just to include her.
yeah
Whereas now, when you have this here, um, I was even no Omicron just testing this out. The amount of buffs that you have just between those five characters is a ton. You get Fulcrum at Relic 3 to 5, and I mean she's one shot in a character, just straight up. Um, I think this could be a team, and especially once we hit Leia's Omicron, I think this could be a team that could punch up to. I think could. I'm trying to think of like what I think this could beat.
like
Um,
a GG team
I think this could beat
at that level.
a GG team. I think this could beat. Um, I'm trying to think of what are like what kind of GAC teams. I think this could be a solid defensive team. I don't know. Like any sort of Palp Empire team, I think this could beat. I think it's one of those things we'll see with testing, but this is one of those that I like it. I think if I wouldn't go out of my way to do this by any means, but I think if you have a lot of rebels geared up, I think this is a good way to get use out
Yeah,
of the rebels. I'll put it that way.
yeah. I like if you went for Luke as one of your first GLs or even your second GL. This is kind of one of those where Akbar is not like he's one of those old characters in terms of like when he was introduced to the game. So like his gear is very low. Like if I had to guess, I would say like two stun guns and then like maybe like one cuff max
Yeah,
in
no, it's
terms of
real
gear.
real easy gear. And the other thing is, I mean, if you take him to Gear 12, Gear 13, um, Home 1 is a relatively fast capital ship,
Yeah,
and the Rebel fleet, I mean, offensively, it can beat all negotiator teams, it can beat all malevolence teams, and it can beat the IG 2000 variants um, of the executor.
exactly.
It can, I would say, anything like 5 star and under, you can win with Home 1 versus Executor. 6 and 7 stars, it's too strong of a fleet. But again, it's a fleet that you're gonna get a lot of use out of, either as a defensive team or as an offensive team. It can take out every fleet in the game
Yeah,
to an extent. So not a waste of gear. You'll get use out of the
I
stuff.
agree.
Um, so let's jump into that with Princess Leia's
Real quick,
Omicron. Oh
I
yeah,
have one last thing I want to say about Akbar. I would say like without talking about Leia, I would describe this Omni in like Ewok. Like it's in like that Ewok tier in
yeah.
terms of Omnicrons. But when we start talking about Leia and how like the two are going to pair very well together, I'll bump this one up kind of close to like the Zam. Like I wouldn't say it's better than the Zam, but I would say it's just right under the Zam and Qui-Gon Omicrons for Grand Arena.
Yeah, I would
That's
agree.
that's what I got. But let's
So
go ahead and talk
jumping
about some
into it,
Leia.
Princess Leia. I would say this is intended to be with Akbar, but I definitely think you could throw this in with CLS and make a CLS team even more annoying than it actually, how difficult it is to deal with. Or like throw it in with a Jin, this could make Jin lead better. Um, but anyways, this is going on her unique, which is a Zeta. Um, which is a Zeta and an Omicron. So new before the Omicron, whenever Leia attacks, she recovers 5% health and protection, and has a 55% chance to grant all allies critical chance up. So that's every time she attacks, which she can triple tap. Not guaranteed, but she can either once, twice, or three times. So at most, she is gaining 15% health and protection each time she attacks. While in Grand Arenas, whenever Leia attacks, she has a 55% chance to grant all Rebel allies Retribution for 2 turns, and a 55% chance to grant all Rebel allies Tenacity up for 2 turns, and all other Rebel allies recover 5% health and protection. So basically, this is giving the protection regen. And under Akbar lead, she's going to be called to assist a lot because she's going to be probably one of the weaker allies. So she's going to be healing the team protection, and she's going to be granting up to 3 different buffs, which is huge.
Yeah, the that was kind of what I was thinking was, the retribution is nice, the crit chance up is nice, and also like tenacity up is very underrated in this game. I would say, in terms of a buff, it's up there in terms of like how good of a buff it is. But I mean, just saying, like the team that you were describing earlier, Akbar Lee with Leia, Fulcrum, Churn, and Baze. I mean, shoot, that's three. That's three more buffs that Leia's going to be given to uh, Fulcrum,
Yeah,
and then Leia stealths, and so it's going to be hard to kill her. She's usually one of the last characters to stay alive because she's
you
in
have
stealth for most of the battle.
2 different cleanses in Chirrut and Akbar. So even if you were to pull her out of stealth and to debuff her, they have 2 different cleanses there, which the cooldowns will be being refreshed due to Akbar lead. I'm not gonna lie, I think this could be a really solid team. I don't know how good it's gonna be just because we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
And I don't know if this is gonna be one of those things that you should go out of your way to do because again, it's 2 Omicrons. It's a rare resource right now. But I would say if you got rebels, I think this is going to be one of those that may on first glance seem kind of bad, but I think in practice it's going to be one of the better teams out there.
I agree. I think it'll probably be a pain in the butt on defense just because, I mean, the triple tap would be pretty nice.
I mean,
I mean,
shoot,
I could,
cheer it. I mean, even for this team, if you were to just bring them up to Relic 3 or Relic 5, Chirrut hits hard. Chirrut hits really hard. Fulcrum hits hard, and I mean, especially with Leia triple tapping, healing everyone. I think this team can surprise you with some of the damage.
yeah, if you're not too familiar with the kits, you'll just go in thinking, oh, it's a bunch of trash tunes put together. And then here you are, somebody dead from Fulcrum, and then you got the rest of your guys you can't do any damage because they're just recovering so much protection
Yeah,
unless you bring in something decent. So I mean, that's really, but I think the two paired together are going to be really good.
yeah,
I That's should be good. Yeah, we want to go ahead and go on to the announced conquest should be coming out soon, and then we have a new conquest award, aka a. Oh no! I'm sorry.
we have the other second sister.
Oh yeah, let's do second sister. I completely forgot about her.
So the second sister, who will be piloting the new Conquest ship, But the second sister is the first character in the Inquisitorius tag to come, and from what it sounds like, from what Doja Fett was saying in the Discord chats, is that we are going to have a full team of Inquisitors. So a lot of the verbiage in her kit is it's hard to see how good she's going to be until we get the rest of the team. Um, it's a lot like Bad Batch when they first came in. It was hard to really know where they were going with until you get the full team. So, second sister, she is a dark side attacker, leader, Empire Inquisitorius, and an unaligned Force user. A ruthless Inquisitor attacker that specialized in eliminating Jedi. So her basic: deal special damage to target enemy and inflict 1 stack of Purge if target enemy is a Jedi, which can't be resisted. Additionally, this attack has a 30% chance to inflict 1 stack of Purge to target enemy, which can't be resisted. And Purge, which is a new debuff, increased effects from enemies that utilize Purge, which lasts until the end of the encounter and can't be copied or prevented. So, Purge is kind of going to be the new debuff here. It's a lot like how Scion has Pain or Moff Gideon has Demoralize. They have these debuffs that mean something. Um,
Can Purge be dispelled?
Purge can be dispelled.
Okay.
First special. Final text dispelled. I'm sorry. Deal special damage to target enemy. This ability has plus 150% defense penetration. If target enemy
Jesus.
is inflicted with Purge, this ability has plus 100% critical chance
Hmm.
and plus 50% critical damage. Special 2. Deal special damage to target enemy and consume up to 5 stacks of Purge. If any stacks of Purge were consumed, grant second sister critical damage up for 2 turns, and this ability has a 50% chance to inflict stun for 1 turn. For each stack of Purge consumed, remove 20% turn meter from target enemy, and second sister gains 10% turn meter, which can't be evaded. If target enemy has 5 or more stacks of Purge, stun them for 1 turn, which cannot be resisted. The leader, which does have an Omicron, Empire allies gain 5% offense, and Inquisitorius allies gain an additional 30% offense. Other Inquisitorius allies have a 30% chance to inflict 1 stack of Purge when using a basic ability, which can't be copied or resisted. Whenever an ally is marked, mark all other allies for 2 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. And while in territory wars, enemies start the battle with 2 stacks of Purge, and Jedi enemies can't recover health or protection from Jedi unique abilities, which excludes Galactic Legends. The unique, which is a Zeta, second sister gains plus 50% critical damage. Her special abilities can't be evaded when attacking an enemy with 1 or more stacks of Purge. Whenever an enemy or Empire ally is defeated, second sister gains bonuses for the rest of the encounter. First Empire ally or enemy, plus 35 speed. Second Empire ally or enemy, plus 100% defense penetration. And third Empire ally or enemy, plus 50% critical damage. So, definitely you're going to want to get some good critical damage mods on her because she can
Yeah.
really get the damage up. So, what are your thoughts here on the first Inquisitor in the game?
Before I start talking, I have a question for the lead. Uh, Empire allies gain 5% offense, and Inquisitors gain an additional 30% offense. Will that stack if like second sister, she's an Empire and she's Inquisitorius? Will those two percentages stack?
Yeah, so that'll be it's plus 30 for Inquisitors. It is plus 35%.
Okay. Okay. All right, that's not bad. I don't know. I like it. At first I was a little skeptical, but then reading the kit, tons of anti-Jedi uh things going on. Looks like she's just gonna be just like a very heavy hitter. And I don't know, I like it. I mean, I've been seeing people run her with like Lord Vader, and it counters Jedi Master Kenobi pretty well. So that's something to be looking out for. I mean, shoot, you can probably right now. I mean, obviously we don't have the rest of the Inquisitors, but I mean, you can probably run her with like Lord Vader, not Lord Vader, but like Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine for a while. But she just looks like
Yeah,
she's just going to be a very heavy hitting. um, attacker. Lots
Yeah.
of lots of crit damage, like the special. If someone has purge, you have 50% critical damage. You can also give yourself critical damage up with the second special, and then there's also a little bit of critical damage with the unique. So like there's tons of critical damage. Looks like she like at the very bare minimum, we're getting kind of like a cam type
So I
player
did
where it's
check
just
her
like,
stats. She has base speed of 186, which is really fast.
ooh,
And she
geez.
also has a very high starting crit damage. Her critical damage to start is 200%. That is her base Gear 13 critical damage. That is not including her unique. So if you're looking at her lead and her unique here, so on her unique she has 50% crit damage. On her first special, that's plus 50% crit damage. So even there, right then and there, that's 300% crit damage. And then on top of that, she can gain an additional 50% from, a third character being defeated. And that's also before mods. I mean, you could easily stack this up to, 400% crit damage.
I think so if we're doing the math right.
Yeah.
Uh, Critical damage, the regular set 6 dot, or the regular damage leveled up is 36. No, that's 42, right?
42, so that'd be 242 to
And then
start.
the triangle is 46, I think? Or is that 42? Let me pull up the game. Someone's got to do it.
Either way, this is going to be a hard-hitting character. And I think we all saw during Arnold's testing, Purge is just going to be one of those mechanics um, until we get more Inquisitors that inflict Purge. It's just going to be one of those that's going to be kind of weird. Um, I think her leads, I think it's one of those that sounded good on paper, but I think the marked thing is kind of weird. Um, I think it's definitely meant to be an offensive team, but this is obviously meant to counter Jedi Revan. But like, how many Jedi Revans do you see on defense now these days?
Not a lot.
And the Omicron, like if that was part of her lead, that would have been super cool. But like, I just don't see why you'd put an Omicron on this, um, just for that purpose.
All right, so for mods, for having a crit damage set, it's 30%, and having a 6 dot critical damage triangle is 42%.
So that's
So
72, starting at 200%. So that's 272, and then she gets an additional plus. If you do her unique will give her 50, so that's 322. Her special gives plus 50%, so that's 372. And then after a third
mhm.
enemy dies, that is 422.
Yeah, which is very absurd.
And also her other special can give her critical damage up, which is plus 50%. So she can really be at plus 452% crit damage.
Jesus.
And on top of that, like if you get offense up, like she's gonna hit hard.
She kind of like her kit's giving me like Cam vibes, where like she's got a lot of stuff in her kit that is a lot of offense, where you can just kind of plug and play her as like a fifth, as like an offensive. For now, I mean, obviously when we get the rest of these Inquisitors, I mean, obviously she'll want to go with them, but I mean, for now, it just even just kind of use for like give herself a use for now. I mean, she's got a lot of offense, so that's nice.
Yeah, so I would say if you're taking Vader, if you're trying to counter Qui-Gon, I think she could help you here.
Mhm.
Um, throwing in an Empire team, I think she'll do some damage there. But I think it's just we'll see what happens when we get more Inquisitors into the game, and we'll see what the viability looks like. Um, but she will be piloting the new Conquest ship, So the new conquest is definitely going to be, I think, more Empire or like original trilogy themed. In the SWGOH events Discord, they have the stuff posted there. I would say once the State of the Galaxy comes up, they should have more of the stuff there. But in the Swogo Events Discord, you can find the details on Conquest. But it's going to look a lot. It's a lot less grindy than the last Conquest, and the reward is going to be the TIE Interceptor prototype, which is going to be piloted by the Second Sister. Um, this is a Imperial fast attack craft that is nimble as it is deadly. Second Sister's force powers allow her to perform maneuvers many would consider unnatural. On the basic, deal physical damage to target enemy twice, and if there was target lock, this attack can't be evaded. First special, deal special damage to target enemy and gain foresight for 2 turns. If the TIE Interceptor prototype already has foresight, it instead grants a random other ally foresight for 2 turns. If the enemy had target lock, dispel target lock and deal 50% more turn meter, and deal 50% more damage. The second special, deal physical damage to all allies, gain Ruthless, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented, and give target enemy and all Jedi enemies pursued target until the end of the encounter. Whenever TIE Interceptor prototype uses an ability, if the target did not have pursued target, Ruthless expires and pursued target is removed from all remaining enemies. The TIE Interceptor prototype can ignore taunt effects when targeting enemies with pursued target. The Ruthless status effect will give plus 15% crit chance, plus 20% critical damage, and plus 30% offense. And Pursuit targets. When the TIE Interceptor prototype targets this unit with an ability during its turn, it gains 40% turn meter. And the TIE Interceptor prototype must target a unit with this or a taunt effect and can ignore taunt effects to target this unit. Her reinforcement ability. If all allies are Empire, Inquisitorius, or Sith, dispel buffs on all enemies and apply target lock and buff immunity for 2 turns. Dispel debuffs on all Empire, Inquisitorius, and Sith allies. So this is like
Plo
Plo
Koons.
Koon, Cassian, and Gar Saxon, like all mixed into one.
Jeez, that's nice.
And on her unique, whenever an Empire, Inquisitorius, or Sith ally reinforces, the TIE Interceptor prototype gains Foresight. Whenever the TIE Interceptor prototype critically hits an enemy, if all allies are Empire, Inquisitorius, or Sith, the allied capital ship gains 5% turn meter. They also changed Vader's unique so that, and I will pull it up here. The Vader's unique now reads, at the start of the battle, if all allies are Empire, Inquisitorius, or Sith, and TIE Interceptor is in the reinforcements, allied Empire capital ship cooldowns are reduced by 1, including call reinforcements. I know this could still work with the Tarkin fleets, but I think this is definitely meant to be with Thrawn. And I think here, with this ship, this is bringing Empire to easily counter Negotiator and Malevolence. I think it's easily bringing it to that tier.
There's tons of Empire synergy. There's also lots of Empire ships in the game. But then I also loved how they included the ship has Sith energy as well, so that includes like Maul. Uh, who are some other?
The Sith Bomber and the Sith Fighter.
Yeah, those two. So you get a little bit of use out of those. I mean, it also included other Inquisitorius ships, so maybe we're gonna get a couple more of those coming forward, which would be kind of interesting.
I'm not sure if this is Conquest esque in terms of what we've been used to.
Yeah.
Um, I would say this definitely kind of reminds me of when the Razor Crest first came out. It was one of those that, the Razor Crest is good, but like, you know, it definitely became something really good with the Executor. But we'll see. I think this is one of those that it seems maybe a little underwhelming, but I think once everyone gets it, or for the people who have good Empire fleets, this can
Yeah.
definitely give another good fleet because unfortunately, right now it's just, you either have have Executor or you don't. And then even before that in the early game, it's like you have Negotiator or you have Malevolence. And those are the ships. And there was no real incentive. Like, yeah, you could get cute with Akbar, but like,
It
Empire,
only lasts for so long.
yeah, it only lasts for so long. And even the Empire, I mean, there was some, you could make some okay Empire fleets, but nothing that really was that special. So it's nice that they're addressing fleets. We'll see, what effect this has on the meta, but I think it'll be good. I like it. And I'm excited to see. And also, it's going to be a 5-star unlock. So if you are in Conquest Hard mode, you will get it. You'll be able to unlock it after the second crate, because you only need 145 shards. And also, if like you're doing normal, or if you don't get the max crate in hard, you should be able to unlock it maybe after one conquest. Or I'm sorry, like all three of the conquest things there.
Hmm. Shouldn't be too bad. I mean, that was my one big gripe about Conquest was that I hated how they did 7-star unlocks. So they basically forced you into 3 conquests in a row, having to grind it out. But I don't know. I liked it. I like how they changed it up now. I also like the ship too. I mean, there's tons of Empire in the game, but they just don't. It seems like they've always been like missing a ship to kind of like pull them together. And this seems kind of like that ship that's going to kind of tie everything together.
I think especially with Thrawn, with the Chimera being a legendary ship,
Yeah,
I
it
think we
makes
can I
sense.
think we can objectively say that like Chimera might be the worst legendary character in the game. Like,
Yeah,
but it's like, and again, like, and this is comparing it to like early game legendary characters. Like, it's objectively the worst legendary, just because you maybe use it in Darkside Geo, maybe you throw it on the back wall in Territory Wars or Grand Arena, but like that's it though. You don't really ever use it ever.
yeah. And so now it's good to get some use out of it.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. And so that's it for kind of news. The state of the galaxy is
Yeah.
not here yet, so we'll have to wait and see on that. But we do have a couple questions um, in the Discord, so we'll jump into those here. Do you want to start with DNL's question here?
Yeah, he has kind of a two-part question. Both of them are completely different. First question is Qui-Gon still worth it with the upcoming nerf? I think he means his Omicron. And his second question is, what do you think the possible new KOTOR characters will or would be? So I guess I'll address the Qui-Gon thing first. I'd say still worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, I took it the other day and I'm using Qui-Gon with a 4-star Gear 8 cam, like a Relic Mace and like a Gear 10 Plo Koon. And I'm beating like full relic teams or just like teams that I have no business still beating. I mean, it's not going to beat a GL. It might not beat a gas. I mean, you if you want to beat a gas, you're going to have to kind of give them good mods. But the fact that I can throw just like any old mods on my other 3 and give Anakin like mid tier mods. Same with Qui Gon. Like I don't even have like really good mods on them, and I can beat like fully relic teams that are modded to the T is pretty nice.
I mean, shoot, like, yeah, it's not. It's definitely the lead was bugged and it wasn't working as intended, and then they nerfed it a little bit. But like, shoot, I mean, most people are going for JMK as one of their maybe not their first GL, but it's definitely a GL that everyone goes for. And you're taking a character that and multiple characters, and you're able to get use out of them for what would have just been like, oh man, I got a relic Qui-Gon, like because nobody was using Qui-Gon. This is still something that I know versus Darth Revan it can get a little sketch, but like you're beating CLS, you're beating. I mean, on offense, if you bring it, I would say you're probably winning most battles with Qui Gon Omicron, and on defense, I mean, you got to take something serious against it.
Yeah, it's a Darth Revan, it's a Vader, it's M Troopers.
It's a Bad Batch, it's a Jedi Knight Luke.
Yep.
I mean, you're having to take something serious if you're gonna beat it. So, yeah, if you have a lot of Jedi, or if you went for JMK, absolutely, it's still worth it. I would definitely still put it on.
I would also even say, even without Cam, it's still worth it. Cam just makes the team better.
Yeah,
And for the possible new KOTOR characters, I'll leave that to you because I played KOTOR 1. I didn't play the second one, so I don't.
I
I'm
would say
still
for new.
lagging.
I don't know with the remake. The remake isn't going to be out for at least another couple years, so it's kind of too early to speculate on those. And besides, we already have the characters here. For KOTOR 2, I think the Exile could come, or I guess it would be Mitra Surik. I guess she could come. I don't know if she would be a legendary or a marquee. I would have thought if like she was going to come as a marquee, she would have came with Starkiller, but she hasn't yet. Um, Malgus is always out there, or some of the other crew members that you have in KOTOR too. I think with KOTOR, I think we're still. Um, I don't think we're getting anything yet, and especially it looks like we're going the Inquisitor routes right now, at least for this year right now to begin. I know that there was the leak for the Ravager for Nihilus. It's looking like that part of the leak wasn't true, at least as of right now. So we'll see, but I would say as in terms of KOTOR characters, I don't think we're getting anytime soon.
Hmm. Uh, Next question from Cracks. Do you guys What do you guys think about the guild culture and focus of the four guilds and the clan as a whole right now? Are all moving in the right direction? Are all on the same page? So I know for returns, it's mostly just Cam and really territory war. I mean, I can't even really say territory war either. I mean, our matchup that we have now is really rough. We're kind of outgunned, but like, I mean, shoot, we've gone 19-0, and we finally faced somebody of significance. So, I mean, I wouldn't really say that territory war is a focus for us, but I would say Cam is probably our focus, and I think we're doing a pretty good job with it so far. I think we have 6 people who aren't able to attempt, and one of them is here on this podcast right now.
That's me, guilty as charged.
I kid. So, I mean, just the numbers wise, it's nice having you know 40, 44 people who can attempt, but I think where I think where we're kind of lacking right now is, I mean, I don't want to force anybody to stream. I'll never tell someone that they have to stream, but currently at the current moment, it's like our people who stream have like a 80 or to 90% success rate, but the people who aren't streaming are like 20 to 40% success rate. And so I think the goal is to try to get a couple of those people who don't want to stream uh, at least in a position where they have the mods to do it and they have at least a couple of tips and tricks to kind of help them out. So, but that's kind of our focus. I can speak for Eternal. I mean, we're kind of at a point where we want to start working on Dark Side Geo, and I don't know if everyone's on the same page there. I can't really tell from time to time, but I would hope they are. So that's where they're at. Age is I think I can kind of speak for Age a little bit, I guess. They're more or less working on CPIT, and they're getting pretty damn close, if I'm being honest. I mean, I think last time they did a practice run, they got into P4 and they got 25% done on their own in P4, which is pretty
That's
impressive.
pretty impressive. Yeah.
I mean, they're like right there. I mean, you're a couple of JMLs and CLS teams away from it. I mean, you're not far off at all. But their problem is they don't have the Vader teams for P1, which I mean, they'll get a couple after this next territory war, which will be good for them. So for begins, I can't really speak for begins too much, but I know that there's been some talk of them wanting to do CPIT with Mercs, but I don't know if that's like if that's something that everyone's kind of building around as a guild or just kind of something a couple people are keeping in mind. But I know they also want to get into cam a little bit more. I think they have like 6 people who can attempt, but I'm not sure too much. I haven't been keeping up with them much, but I think as a clan right now, we're all just kick butt and talk some trash. So
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of people on Discord here, and it's been nice having people of different points in the game. We've got people in the
yeah,
early game, people at the tip of the spear. Actually, I don't think we have too many uh tip of the
uh,
spear whales.
we got
Um,
like I wouldn't say we have any whales,
but we've got some people
but
with like pushing like some high mill, like definitely like above 6 mil GP.
yeah, we got a couple guys with 6 in returns. I think Cracks is getting close to 8, so I think he might be pushing closer to 8. Let me pull up our guilds GG because now I'm curious.
But in terms of like, I think we're all moving towards the right thing. I think each guild has a goal that they're going for, and obviously, like we've been. I know Returns has been super successful with what we've been doing. Yeah, Age has been too. I personally don't hear too much about Begins and Eternal, um, but from what I hear in passing, you guys are kicking ass. I would just
Mm,
say, yeah, just having clear goals and going for it.
yeah, Cracks is 7.2 mil, so I
Seven
thought he
point
was
two.
closer to 8, but still, I mean 7.2, Jesus. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty good. I mean, I guess the question next to ask is, MDA, what you been working on?
Well,
What's your farming?
we got Relius's question here on the
Oh, I completely forgot about his. I apologize, Relius.
So for Relius's question here, I'm gonna pull up the lead if you want to read the question.
uh, how long before the Ewok/bug counter to the 3GLs get patched?
So for those of you who do not know, this is um, not including the Omicron because it doesn't apply. You take Chirpa lead with the rest of the Geos, and I believe it's um,
I think you take out Sunfac.
I can't remember if you take out Sunfac or if you drop Poggle. I don't know which one it is, but either way, you take Ewoks and 4 Geos because Chirpa Lead reads Ewok allies gain 20% turn meter and deal 10% more damage whenever they perform a basic attack. These effects are halved for other allies. Whenever an Ewok ally uses a special ability, there's a 60% chance to call another random Ewok ally to assist. Anyways, ignore the Ewok stuff. Whenever you use a basic, you gain 10% turn meter because it's going to be half of the 20 and deal 5% more damage. The 5% more damage doesn't count, but it's a 10% turn meter. And this is on top of the, soldier gaining turn meter on his basic, spy gaining turn meter from the debuffs. Basically, you just gain so much turn meter, um, and you just go from one target to the other. And it's just as long as you take a turn, you know, you're good. Um, And so there's been some videos. I think this has beaten Array. This has beaten. I think I can't remember if it beat Kylo. I'm not sure what other GLs it's beaten, but yeah, I think the Ray has been the big one that I've seen. And I don't think it's required crazy high gear. I think definitely maybe some like at least gear 11 and up, but I think definitely like 12 and 13 mix of like maybe like a 12 Chirpa and like a 13 for the Geos. Um,
Hmm.
I personally don't think this is going to get patched just because you really haven't seen this a lot, just because it's kind of cheesy. And I mean, it's like beating low level Ray teams. And you have to separate two teams to do it. You don't see this in territory. I mean, like, you see this in territory wars every once in a while, but it's just nobody. This isn't happening on such a wide scale thing where like the devs are looking into us. Like I know the devs are looking into the Kylo Daka zombie team because like that's and like with Watt because like that's what people are using to beat Kylo beating Lord Vader or C with like armor. The reason they had to buff JMK was because they didn't like C with the armor or Watt beating JMK. So I personally don't think this is going to get patched. I think they're just going to leave it as is. Because I mean, shoot, like there's a lot of GLs that can get beat by stuff by regular teams, but it's not consistent. There's nothing. No, it's not happening on such a widespread thing like the Qui-Gon thing. Everyone, the whole community was putting Omicrons on so that they could go, abuse that. This just isn't happening like that. So I don't think it's going to get nerfed.
I would tend to agree. I mean, also it's not beating any like tough GLs. Like if it was beating like Lord Vader or JMK, then yeah, I would say yeah, this is gonna get nerfed soon. But SE already sucks on defense. I mean, shoot, I've seen like the troopers can take it out. I mean, I've seen some like shoot, you can probably still take CLS and beat SE right now. A good
Yeah,
CLS team.
I know.
So
Like even certain General Grievous and Darth Revan can beat JML. General Grievous can beat C. I mean, there's just some things out there. Like I don't think they're gonna go all the way and nerf these things just because they're not 100% consistent. Um, but we'll see. Maybe they will nerf it, but I would say I would tend on I don't think they will.
yeah. Uh, so I guess I guess I gotta ask my question again. What's your farming?
Man, that's a good question. I am wrapping up Executor right now. I just actually, when I was on a Discord call with Rock yesterday, I got my TIE Bomber to 7 stars, and I just now got to get TIE Fighter Pilot to Relic 5 by the 15th, because that's when the Executor event comes. He's at Relic 3 right now. I'll have it in a couple days. Um, I have, as of right now, 14,000 crystals sitting in reserve so I can blow them on refreshes to get the Executor. I'm hoping to have all 25,000 so I can so I can 7 star it on the unlock, but we might have to sit with like a 6 star or a 5 star Executor at least for a month. Um, After that, we're finishing Boba Fett Sign of Django. He is Gear 12, all Omicrons, all Zetas, and we're going to be farming Fennec and the rest of the team up. It's beating some low level teams right now just because I don't have good mods on them and all that, but it's pulling its weight. I can throw them in with bounty hunters and stuff. Um, I did make my plan for the year. I want to get C and um, actually, no, let me start first. I wanted to get Gas, Shock, and Troopers up for the guild, and then I want to get C and Lord Vader during this year. Um, if I can be greedy, I want to slip Starkiller in there, but I um, I think I'm just gonna have to sit with just the two GLs right now. We'll throw Akbar and Leia Omicron in there, but the main thing I think I'm gonna be working on next is Shock Clones and Gas. That's gonna be the next big project. What about you right now? What are you doing?
So I've been working on the BAM requirements, getting them all to 7 star, getting them ready for the event. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and unlock Bam. I have all the gear for him to go to at least gear 12. I'll probably relic him. I'll relic IG-11, and then that'll get me a decent little defensive team for GAC. And then I don't know what I want to do after that. I kind of want to wait and see how they're going to do Razor Crest. If he's just going to be kind of like a legendary event, kind of like CLS or like Yoda, then I'll go ahead, get Razor Crest, and then go for Executor. But if some people have been throwing around that they'll do it more like a Night Sister kind of thing, like Talzin, where
Mm-hmm.
like you get like an X amount of shards per month for free. If they do it that way, then I'll just I'll probably go Lord Vader after that instead, because that's kind of where I want to go. I kind of want to go Executor Lord Vader somewhere like that, just because I really just wanted to get Bad Batch, and I said, well, if I'm going to go ahead and get Bad Batch, I may as well just get Lord Vader while I'm at it.
I've been doing some
So
more research on Bad Batch, and I actually think they're what makes the cam mission a lot easier. I'm convinced after seeing some more videos of, especially once you have Omega at Relics and all that, and the whole team at Relics. I think that team is going to be the easiest one to beat the Cam mission. So it's one of those, if you got Bad Batch or if you're going for Lord Vader, you're gonna get you're getting a solid team. So um, yeah, just that's my two thoughts there on Bad Batch.
Um, yeah. And then that I kind of want to finish up some GAC teams. I kind of want to get Imp Troopers up and running, and then I want to get kind of want to finish out CLS a little bit. I mean, I got them Gear 11, Gear 12, Gear 10, but I kind of want to get them all Gear 12 at least, so that way they kind of have a little bit more viability. So, yeah, that's kind of it for me. For anyone listening to this podcast, I think we're going to do another one kind of soon because our hope is that they announce. Well, if they announce, Road Ahead tomorrow, that'd be nice, but that would also kind of suck for us. But
Yeah,
it is what
I
it
think
is.
the goal
But
is we're gonna have Glermit come on with us, and we're gonna talk about the Cam mission. So
yeah,
all modding questions, turn order strategy, we're gonna be talking about that in the pod. So
yeah,
um,
like grill us, give us the hardest questions you can. Um, we'll even go over stuff like streaming, like usually like what I look for while I'm streaming with somebody. What to kind of look for when you're doing the mission yourself. If you don't do it with a streamer, just kind of like things to look out for, stuff like that. So, but I think that's it for us. It's a pretty good pod, I would say.
yeah, no, this was good always to talk characters. I wish we had some some new news, but we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, I agree. But
Yeah, it's been real, guys. Appreciate anyone for stopping by, and we'll catch you guys.